Welcome to episode number 113 of the BEBC
BS
Podcast.
The Rangers, world champions.
Woo! Just talking about things that I said this the other day, you never thought you'd see in your life.
Oh my gosh, I know.
That had to be
the Canseco ball up his head, and then the mess up, with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Nelson Cruz. Things you never thought you would see happen.
No.
So it just goes to show you, as we enter the playoffs,
if you spend hundreds of millions of dollars, you can get the result that you want. Wig, guess what? You got a big Christmas bonus headed your way.
let's see if the Touchdown Club has got some money, huh?
Yeah.
No, that's not where I was headed with that, but that was funny. That was funny. That is true. Hey, they
He
paid.
spent some bucks.
He did.
To bring in Scherzer and Simeon and who else did he bring in? Oh my gosh.
Well,
So
Corey
much talent.
Seager.
Yeah, Corey Seager. Oh my gosh. Corey
Evaldi.
Seager's-
The list goes on and on and on.
Corey Seager's, his stuff was just nasty. Oh my gosh.
You mean Evaldi? Seager's a shortstop.
Yeah. Not Uvalde. What's his name? Simeon. Is he pitcher?
No, he's a second baseman.
Well, who was pitching?
Which
Was it?
What, the last game?
Yeah, the last
Evaldi
game.
was.
You're a dedicated fan, aren't you?
Hey, bite me. God.
He just wears the shirt.
No.
Bandwagoner.
Do you know how long ago I bought this shirt? I bought this shirt when I went to the World Series game, 2012 it was?
11, 12. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, we're going to win.
We're gonna maybe switch things up here.
Yeah, please do.
I talked to Coach Wig earlier, and he's on
Indisposed.
secret spy
He's
mission
indisposed.
tonight, and said he might be able to pick up.
So we'll see.
So we're going to call him. If he picks up, great, and if he doesn't, trust me, he's busy doing something he needs to be doing. So we'll see if he's got time for us.
Picking out morning uniforms.
Contrary to popular belief, he does care.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. We'll see what's going on here. See if he answers. Or he may call us back, too.
Okay.
He must be busy. He's on 3 ringy dingies. He never takes that long.
He always answers the phone.
We'll see.
Time. All right.
Hello?
Coach!
Can you
Hey,
talk?
How are y'all?
Good. You got a minute?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
I told everybody a minute ago you're on a secret spy mission, so we're going to leave it at that.
That's right.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Man, we're doing great, and just wanted to say last night was just fun all the way around.
It was good for mankind, wasn't it?
It was. You know,
It really was.
you got to see a lot of happy kids. You got a lot to see a lot of happy parents.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
And so,
You just think about just seriously, you think about all the hours and all the years that so many of those kids put in, and just being real, it's some of them the only minutes they got all year, and just thinking of how hard they worked for those minutes and how appreciative they were, but then just how much, how cool it was that everyone else was so excited for those that don't play a ton, and then those that have followed Allen football, you have a guy that was so instrumental, so impactful to the team last year, suffered such a devastating injury, and then get to score an explosive touchdown last night. It's just really, really, really a good night.
yeah, we had a lot of fun, and for the people who stayed around and watched it all, I think the thing that we kind of enjoyed too was exactly what you said about watching the team get excited for everybody else, and that just shows the cohesiveness and the brotherhood. Yeah.
No, really, I agree.
The stuff that will last beyond
That's right.
football. Yeah.
That's right.
Nobody more excited than Dylan.
Oh, good Lord. He threw that touchdown pass, and all I could think of was he's going to pull his hammy with that celebration.
Yeah, looked like Diego from last year.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That's all I could think of. I said, if he does that, we are not going to let him live it down. So, but we talked to him after the game, and he was thrilled. He was so pumped, and was still pumped. About it.
Yeah,
So.
no kidding.
But that was fun. Well, you got a big win last night, and I was going to do some work today, and I got busy and didn't do it. But when you look at this district run this year, you ended up 5-2 in district. You know, 7 points out of being undefeated, 8 points, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. And you really took care of business against every other team except the two that you lost to. So, and you were really competitive in those games.
Yeah, had a chance.
And so as you enter the playoffs, you know, I think you've got to feel pretty good about anybody that you're facing, that this team can be really competitive against them.
No, I agree. I do. I mean, I really, you know, I think you can make a case that that obviously you could go to a few of those games and say, golly, you know, it could have gotten out of control, you know, if we don't play really well, and I think that's realistic. I think the guys, you know, did not play flawless for sure, you know, and you go to all the, you know, the 2 games we lost, and you can point to 3 or 4 or 5 specific plays and say you just make any of those and you probably win. But then you could also point to about 20 more and say, golly, man, these kids are just playing hard and doing some good stuff. And you say, if that doesn't happen, then all of a sudden it's a 21-point game the other way, you know. So you just, when you're around these guys, you feel like that that you just have a shot against anyone, you know. And I don't think, you know, I've coached a long time, and I don't think that I'll step on the field in the playoffs and feel like that as we step out there, that other team is intimidated by us and thinking, oh my gosh, how can we play with this team? I don't think that's going to be the case. Same time, I think they better come knowing that they're going to have their hands full, or you know, we're going to have a shot to beat anybody any night. I really believe that.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of where we're at with you too. So we look forward to whoever it's going to be, and that'll work itself out tonight.
Yeah,
it will. It's real complicated. I mean, it's either going to be Coppell or it's going to be Louisville. How it gets there is complicated.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
So we look forward to. Now, is that going to be played at neutral site, or is it going to be a home for them? Coppell would be a home game, wouldn't it?
Coppell would be a home game for Coppell.
Yep.
Louisville would probably be a neutral site. That's undetermined at this point. Hoping to have that, you know, at this point it would be, you know, after their game tonight that we would know for sure.
Yeah. Friday night for sure?
No, not for sure. It'll be Thursday or Friday.
Oh, Thursday or Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you get a chance to pre-flip, do us a favor and call heads, and then you can blame it on us if you don't get it.
You got it. You got it.
Wow, you gave him an out, man.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's what we're here for.
For real. Yes. That's great.
Wow, James.
And it's on the record.
And we've never offered that up before.
No.
No, I love it.
we get blamed for enough stuff that we don't do that now you're going to
That's right.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Talk to my wife.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, amen.
All right, we know you're busy, so I'm not going to keep you long, but I picked 4 games this week because just like Texas high school football, college football is getting into that, you know, nitty-gritty, really good, really meaningful games now. And this weekend's one of them. We're going to pick 4. I started to tell you yesterday. You told me you didn't want to know, so I'm not.
Yeah.
All right, we'll put you on the spot. First one, OU travels to OSU in the last bedlam.
Yeah. That's really sad for college football. I mean, you know, and I get the world that we're going to. I really do. I mean, it makes sense, but man, the older I get, I mean, that's sad. I mean, it's really, really sad. And my son went to Oklahoma State for a year, and I'm telling you, that is a really, really neat place. And you know, they just over there, they're the little brother, you know, and they take a lot of pride in the fact that if you're around that area and you're offered by both, you're going to OU. That's how it's been forever. And in saying all that, Oklahoma State plays them really, 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 really tough every year. Without following the 2 teams, I just, you know, I do think that Oklahoma is just so much more talented. I think it'd be hard for them to lose the game, so I think I'll still have to go with Oklahoma.
It will be interesting. Just a side note on that, Ollie Gordon, who used to play for Trinity, has had like 3 straight 200-yard games for OSU. So it'll be interesting to see what he does.
Well, you know, the year that, you know, I haven't ever followed Oklahoma State football, but the year that my son was there, you know, I didn't think they were a very good offensive football team, and they went and played in the Fiesta Bowl and beat Notre Dame, and they did it by just old school football, you know, of just that, you know, conventional, they're going to 4th and 1 on the plus 45-yard line. They're going to punt it, and they're going to try to pin them down there. They're going to play good defense and get it back, and they're going to try to keep it low-scoring game and give yourself a chance. Just beating up clock and not getting behind the chains. And I think when you got back like that, that's I think they're going to have a chance. It's going to be an exciting game.
Yeah, that'll be.
It's probably not going to be an exciting game to watch for a lot of people, but it's going to be an exciting game when it gets to the end of it.
Yeah.
I think we need to convince your son to write a nostalgic song about the old Southwest Conference or something.
No kidding. Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
He would too. Yeah.
A big game on the West Coast. Washington travels to USC. Ooh.
Man, that's a big game for a lot of reasons.
Yep.
I think that, again, I think when you look at conventional wisdom, you'd say, man, this Washington team's probably playing really, really good. They got a quarterback that's still very much, in the Heisman discussion. But I think you probably got a USC team that has been kicked around a little bit. And I've got to think that maybe they rebound a little bit and find a way to win that game. So I'll go USC.
All right. A game that a couple of us are going to tomorrow down in Austin. Kansas State's going down there to face the Longhorns.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game too. I think that you talk about different brands of football. You got Kansas State that's going to run the quarterback as much as anyone in the game, and Texas, who I think is just as talented. Really so creative offensively too. But I think Texas will win the game and give them a chance to play in the Big 12 championship and hopefully more than that.
Yep. And last but not least, a game that Chris Cumnock's going to. LSU goes to Tuscaloosa to face Alabama.
Another really, really cool opportunity, cool game. Kind of jealous he's getting to go to that game.
Yeah.
He's jealous of y'all too. But
well, I asked him to go with us. He goes, well, I would, but I'm going here. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I should offer to buy you lunch at Buffalo Wild Wings because I'm not going.
Yeah, I'm down for it. I think I don't know. I really do think that Saban, this might be their best year of coaching. I think that this is, it's just so they're not dominating from the quarterback position, but they're still trying to find a way they're still finding a way to be in games and sneak them out at the end. And I think they'll find a way to do it again. I'll take Alabama.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's interesting you say that. He is having to coach this year, and
Yeah.
it's different for him, like a little bit, but that's why he makes the big bucks.
That's right.
Coach, we appreciate it, and go learn a lot tonight.
Yeah, stay safe.
Yeah, we will, and y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy the day tomorrow, and thank y'all for all that y'all do.
All right, buddy.
All right,
Thank
thanks.
you. We'll see you next week.
Okay, see y'all.
Bye.
Thursday night.
There he goes, Coach Wig. Yeah, Thursday night. That's kind of weird. We have never
Thursday or
played on
Friday.
a Thursday night game, have we?
Well,
Playoff
and
game?
depending on, maybe it's depending on stadium availability because a lot of the stadiums that people like to do neutral games get taken.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know, and by the time we figure out tonight, there may already be some people who've already taken up some spots. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
That's interesting. He's scouting tonight's what he's doing, which
No.
yes.
Are they allowed to do that?
Well, as long as they don't steal signs, I guess. In Michigan.
Gosh.
Isn't that amazing that goes on? Jim Harbaugh. And the lengths they went to do that.
Probably be out there with one of those paper bags over his head with eyes cut out and see who he
Who
is.
was it? When we scrimmaged Martin. Oh, John Walsh from
Yes.
Geyer came, remember?
Yeah.
And watched
Him and
the
his
scrimmage.
buddies were walking up with their
Him and his-
his shorts on.
His posse.
Well, he had what it was like muted light blue Bermuda shorts. Nobody will recognize me in this
Crazy.
outfit.
I there's so much that happened yesterday.
From a team and a game standpoint.
Team game, the whole thing was really...
Senior night?
Yeah.
Senior night?
Just so many things that happened that people say, you need to talk about that, you need to talk about that. I was just like, oh my gosh, hey guys, we can only do so much, and first thing I want to do, because it's been another year of this, and we can't thank her enough, and we don't thank her enough, and we don't do enough for her. And
Oh, my gosh.
we need to. Our buddy, she's one of us. She really is, and she's great. Che, who brings us treats every week. She's
Such a sweetheart.
It's so awesome. And last night we got the smorgasbord.
Yeah, you missed out.
No, I
Oh, he
didn't.
didn't miss out.
Oh, he didn't?
He was like a raccoon after the
I
game.
took some home with me.
Raccoon. That's great.
He went scavenging after the game, buddy. And Che, thank you for all you do for us. We really appreciate that. And those things.
And for the kids, too. I mean,
Yeah,
she
does it
bakes for the kids and for us. So.
But the fact that you give us knuckleheads something every week is just so much appreciated. And so
Yeah.
thank you for another year of that. We don't have another home game, so we're on our own. So the treats. Thank you for doing that.
I can't believe season has gone so quickly.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's almost a little. I get a little melancholy this time of year because now it's you lose, you're done.
Yeah,
there's
but
not a game next week.
Yeah, but we've got basketball to look forward to,
Well,
so
we
that's
do.
exciting.
We do. In fact, they play 2 games tomorrow.
Which tournament?
I'd have to look it up, but they play W.T. White
Okay.
and
Oh, mercy.
That'll be a game.
Really?
Faith Family. So
And they're both highly ranked in
They
their
both-
taps, and then
yeah, so they
Yeah.
play that tomorrow. And then while we're on basketball, next Saturday, 7 o'clock at North Crowley, they're playing in I think it's called the Cowtown Tip-Off Classic, and they're
Okay.
playing the number 2 ranked team in the state, Plano East. Allen came in preseason number 11, so here you go.
Yeah.
They put out a schedule on Twitter. I don't know if everybody saw it.
yeah.
There's of the top 25 teams in Gasso, they're playing 6 of the top 25 definite, and they have a chance to play 13 of them in tournaments and this, that, and the other.
Well, they can go into the stall against Plano East.
I don't think with this group they'll do that. This group,
no.
This is group. So anyhow,
It's going to be a physical rebounding. with
next
the ball.
Saturday night, there's obviously not going to be football on Saturday. If you want to drive over to Fort Worth, we're going to be there. I know I'm going. Dave's going to go. I think James said he
Yep.
was going.
I plan on it.
Saturday night, 7 o'clock at North Crowley. And they have games going on every 2 hours all day over there.
Mm-hmm.
Really good basketball. They got a lot of good teams showing up. So, back to the tailgate yesterday. Lots of things went on. We had many families stop by. I'd say, just out of the blue, player families. We had a ton of players stop by. And I don't know whether it's because it was the last game or what, but before and after the game, we just had a bunch of them just stop by and talk. And David got to meet Amir McDowell face to face. The dude is so cut. David goes, I get it now. He was like, yeah, because Amir, I remember Amir from spring training or spring ball because he's got the dreads.
Yeah.
And his helmet came off, and I said, my gosh, it's the Predator.
Yeah.
It's what he looks like.
How do you fit that under that helmet?
Yeah, he's cut him a little shorter now, but he came up and those dreads there, and David was like, and I was like, that's McDowell. He's like, oh my gosh, yeah. He definitely, you see why he runs so hard.
Well, now, and if anybody has looked, they did that hype video for McKinney. Best defense in the land.
Yeah.
Well, they did another hype video, and Amir, was one of the highlighted people. Oh, Amir McDowell runs like he's, downhill in a truck. And
We had a
That was
conversation with Makai Ellis.
Yeah.
Because I raised the question last week, how can people not tackle you, And he's like, I don't know. He had no idea. And I said, you're amazing how fast you are, too. I said, are you the fastest guy on the team? And he looked at me and I said, what about you and Caleb? He goes, you got to wait the track season. We'll find out. So
Okay.
there you go.
I got a reason to go to track now.
Yeah, see how those two guys do. So he came by for a while. Brady came by and talked to him and see how he's feeling. And he was hoping to do exactly what happened last night, to play a short amount of time and stand on the sidelines. And then he complained afterwards because he was cold. Or you could have gone back in.
Yep. Well,
No, he mentioned that. No, I'm not a senior. I was sitting my time out.
He did.
Exactly.
And he did, and they took care of what they need to take care of too. I had a lot of people question what was going on with the Big A last night. because and I didn't go in for senior night. We were waiting on the commish.
That's been a
But
problem for years.
because it was, and I took a picture of it, and we don't have.
It was like partially
speaking of
collapsed,
which,
yeah.
we don't have video this week. Mr. Adams was unavailable for the game until late, so we don't have video. There's a lot of highlights out there. I've already seen them today, so if you want to find your highlights, just search. But when we got in, I don't know, 6:45 or whatever, the Big A was
struggling and leaning. And,
just half deflated, and I thought it had just happened, but evidently had been that way ever since they started senior night.
Yeah.
And so after the game, the tunnel crew was putting everything up, and so I went up. I said, "Guys, listen. People are asking me what's going on with the A." Well, he said there's a hole in it.
Another A-hole.
Yeah, the A,
not the normal A-hole.
David's got the picture there. The A had an A. The A hole had a hole.
Yeah.
So. And they couldn't, he said they used house power for a while and it kept tripping rather than using generators. And so evidently it was like that all during senior night and people were embarrassed and mad and this, that, and the other. But that's what it was. And you never know when there's a hole. It's because that thing gets put up every week. It's not like when you bring it out.
Right.
Something happened.
How big a hole was it?
Well, I was trying to say, I imagine if you pay that much money for something like that, it should be pretty thick.
Well, yeah,
material.
it is, but
If you have a seam rip or if
Something
something
happened.
tears it,
yeah,
I mean, whatever.
they drag it and this.
And
that,
it must
the
have been a
other.
big
Somebody
hole.
walked by with a razor
Relatively
blade.
big.
It was big enough where they couldn't inflate it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, bless their hearts, and that's what it was. And people started going off saying, and somebody raised a question, it was a legitimate question. When are we going to get rid of it? Because it has all these issues. It has nothing to do with the guys working it.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were like, why are you mad at the tunnel crew? And it's like, it's not the crew.
Yeah.
It's the inflatable that people have an issue with. And so no one's yelling at the people. They're doing the best they can. And, if it won't blow up, it won't blow up, If they lose
That
power.
ruined the whole experience for me.
Yeah. Seniors look back and say, hey, we had the special year where the A was crooked or whatever.
Do they really? Do they look back and say that?
I don't know. They should. They can now. That made it special.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you look just like everybody else's senior.
Well, exactly.
So, see, there's
We need to get an A run through or something with the eagle and the eagle squatting down, kind of like some of the other.
Prosper.
Oh, Prosper.
Till I die, it will look like that eagle's taking a dump. I'm sorry.
Number 2. We're number 2.
So if we play Prosper again, y'all look at our inflatable and you think that eagle isn't. I did a doo-doo.
I couldn't get it out of my mouth fast enough.
What's it? Nanny boo-boo, stick your head in doo-doo?
There was a guy who played for Little Elm last night. His name is Jacob.
Poo-poo?
I bit a poo.
A bit of poo?
I bit a poo. And when Ian said it, all I heard was, I did a poo-poo.
I did a poo.
And that's all I could think of all night.
Ian, you didn't happen to do that on
I did
purpose,
poo-poo.
did you?
I'm like, I did a poo-poo. Oh, I'm sorry.
Poor guy.
So anyhow, Allen plays Little Elm. Last game of the year. It meant nothing from a playoff standing. It always means something, but it didn't mean anything
Right.
as it related
Senior
to
night,
playoffs.
you want the seniors to dominate. You want them to win.
You want your starters to be out of there quick.
Yes.
And, this is a game where, and I meant to do this today and I didn't get to, but the 5 district wins they had were all dominant victories. You look at the McKinney game, you look at Little Elm,
Dominant.
you look at Boyd,
Dominant.
yeah, you look at Braswell,
Yeah, pretty dominant.
yeah, you think so? And you look at Rock Hill. All those games were not close. And I went to go back and I wanted to put all the stats together. Work got in the way, but I can tell you, you go back and look at the stats from each of those games, it tells the story of the game. Last night was no exception. End of the day, you look, Allen had 28 first downs, Little Elm had 10. They had 2 at halftime. Little Elm ended up with 246 yards total offense. They had 34 at halftime. 34 yards.
All their points really came in trash time.
Oh,
to be honest. Yeah.
Allen ends up with 560 yards of offense, 207 yards passing, a big 353 yards of rushing, averaged over 7 yards a carry on the ground. They had the one turnover, which was a case where Dylan was trying to feed one of his best
little
buds.
sentimental
Yeah.
pass there.
And the defender actually made a great play on that because it was a jump ball. They both went up for it. They both fell to the ground,
Yeah.
and the guy caught it when he was on the ground. It bounced around for a little bit, so the turnover,
so it wasn't,
and it didn't hurt
wasn't
you.
necessarily Dylan's fault, but
No.
yeah, it happens.
You know, the thing that impressed me most about Allen last night was they did exactly what they were supposed to do to this team. Mm-hmm. Exactly. You know, the one turnover that without turnovers, there was one turnover later in the game that was a pick six that got them points, but other than that, it was Allen just going out there and whipping a team that they should have whipped.
Yep.
And it started from day one. Bricker only played a short time through the first half. Was 11 of 13 with one touchdown.
Pretty solid performance. Showing some football IQ.
Brett Holloway came in after that. Brett was 2 of 5 for 40 yards. And then Dylan played the majority of the second half. Dylan Chapman, and we were so excited for Dylan too. He'd been hurt all year, his hamstring, and he just couldn't get it healthy, and he finally got cleared to play. And we'll talk about later, he has a big touchdown pass, but he was 6 of 9 for 84 yards. On the rushing side, and we'll talk about this when we get to it when we run down. Kavion Sibley actually led the team in rushing last night.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, 7 for 98. Had a long touchdown run that, again, it about made me cry. I was so happy for the kid, because he's overcome, so as Coach said.
Yeah.
McDowell had 85 yards on the ground with 3 touchdowns. Lyndon Spriggs,
Go Lyndon.
who I believe I heard them say was a freshman last night,
Yep.
had 60 yards on 9 carries and a touchdown. McKeel Rudy, contributed another 46 yards. Mekhi Ellis didn't play that much.
Yeah.
He averaged 5 yards a carry and got himself a touchdown. So it was the wealth got spread last night. Same thing with on receiving, because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can count to 10. If I could get one more, I could be a referee.
Wow.
We got 11 players on the field.
How's your eyesight?
Yeah, it's good. I had those replaced. 11 players with a catch last night.
Nice.
So
That's
Spreading
distributed
man.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Caleb Smith had 5. Donnell had 3. Reed Nicholson a couple. Quentin Q had a couple. Gavin Akins had a couple, and everybody else just had one. But
That, for the seniors, that is going to be really key for their intramural football play once they get to college.
there you go. They got on the stat sheet as we kind of made fun.
Yeah.
Game starts. Allen wins the toss, defers. Little Elm gets the ball. They go 3 and out, and they punt from their own 27-yard line.
Oops.
And this poor punter, it was funny.
Went out
'cause-
of bounds at the 29.
Yeah, it punted 7 yards to the 34. It was funny because we had joked with Wig at tailgate. He came by and I said, "You gonna play everybody tonight?" He goes, "Yeah, you want to suit up?" I said, "Sure, I got to play in me." And David goes, "You can punt, right?" And I said, "Well, I don't know if I can punt, but I can catch it." I said, "But I can get a punt off."
Yeah.
I think I could have punted 7 yards. Bless the guy's heart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they get him into plus territory across the 50 for a long time.
Well, like I said, they had 2 first downs, but yeah. So we get the ball at the 34, 6 plays. Brady does a little shovel pass to Caleb, 6 yards, touchdown, 7-0. Kickoff. Our kick coverage was much better last night too.
That's good.
They get the ball at their 21. They're penalized 5 yards. On second down, they fumble, lose the ball, and Allen takes over at the 23. 4 plays later, Amir gets his first touchdown of the night. I turned to David and I said, "We may score 50 points and have 200 yards of offense."
Yeah.
These are short little drives, but
Yep.
again, they're 6 minutes into the game and you're up 14-0.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Allen kicks off. They get the ball at their 17. They get to the 22, and they punt again. This one goes 40 yards, so he figured out what he needed to do there. Allen goes 7 plays, goes 24 yards, They get to 4th and 2 at the Little Elm 38, and they only get 1 yard. Little Elm takes over. They go 4 plays. They lose a yard in those 4 plays, and they punt it down to the Allen 30. On first down, Brady hits Caleb for 10. Second down, Amir loses 3. And then on third down from the 37, second down from the 37, Amir gets his long touchdown run of the night. Breaks a couple tackles and gets to the secondary, and he's not slow either.
Yeah.
No.
And 63 yards. It's 21-0 with 27 seconds left in the first quarter. And you're thinking, okay, good. This is good for coach being able to get everybody in. Because
Exactly.
Little Elm has been totally inept, and Allen is, pretty much doing whatever they want to do.
And so now we're at 4 series that Little Elm had that didn't cross a 50.
Oh, no. No, the farthest they got was, let me see here, their own 37 at that point.
Wow.
So
That's brutal.
it was icky. Their next series, they get the ball to 16. They have an incomplete pass. They rush for 1 yard. They rush for 0 yards on third down, and they punt. So they got to their 17-yard line at that point.
It's 5.
Yep. Allen gets the ball. That's where Q had a punt return to 30 yards, but they had a penalty, so they started. He ran it all the way down to their 20-yard line. Had a 15-yard penalty. Bricker had an incomplete pass. He rushed for 0. We were penalized another in 10, and then on 3rd and 20 from the 45, Brady hits Q for 22 yards for a first down. So we have a 3rd and 20 play. Mackay rushes for 4. Gavin Akins for 3. Mackay rushes for 4 for a first down, and on first down from the 12, Mackay Ellis gets his touchdown. So now it's 28-0. Little Elm gets the ball at their 25. They fair caught that one, so they get the ball at 25. They complete a pass for 1. They rush for 8. They lose 2. So they got to their 27 as far as they got.
6 series.
They punted 25 yards. We take over at our own 48. On the next series, we go 9 plays, 52 yards. Amir gets his second touchdown of the night on a 15-yard run. It's now 35-0. It just goes from bad to worse. Fair catch at the 30-yard line. Actually, this one went out of bounds, I think, and they got it at the 30. There was a penalty.
Right.
The kick went out of bounds. They rush for -1. They get a pass for 9, and they have an incomplete pass, and so they punt. So they got to their 38-yard line.
Yeah.
7.
Progress.
I told you.
It's progress.
And then, to me, Allen takes over with 3:30 left, and they go 16 plays, 97 yards.
Mm-hmm.
They get down. They use all their timeouts. They get down to about what is it? I don't know how far down. It was a 24-yard field goal, so they get down to the 7 or 8 yard line. They're out of timeouts. With 14 seconds left, that play gets over. It's third down play, and so they did a really quick transition.
It's like a DeSoto game.
It was a memory of that.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
good to see that they
Can do it.
can do it.
Yeah.
They get that down there. They kick a field goal. Runs out the clock. It's 38-0 at halftime. As I said, total domination at that point, and you just know, okay, everybody's going to be able to get in. Little Elm has 34 yards. The defense is playing great, doing everything that's asked of them. We saw Coach Hargis yesterday. He's another one that came out there.
Awesome.
And just gave him kudos. And I said, it seems like your guys have really picked this up,
Yeah.
and really understand what to do. And he goes, yeah, other than a play here or there. He goes, these guys are playing very well. So,
And you just knew that coaches were going to come out at halftime throwing up the white flag just like Eric Taylor did on
Friday
East
night.
Dillon.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, and you had to wonder at some point if the discussion of a running clock was made, but they never did that. Especially when we got to the fourth quarter, it was like 90% of the people had left because
Yeah.
senior parents especially if they weren't football related, were gone. That was a
Out of here.
boy, what a mass exodus
It
that was
was.
at halftime.
I mean-
I know it was cool and it was a Thursday, but holy moly!
I sat there and froze to death.
Yeah, you did. I saw you
Yeah.
shaking down there. Allen gets the ball to start the third quarter. Dylan Chapman takes over at quarterback. Donnell returns to kick 23 yards to the 26th. Dylan hits Donnell for 11. And then my favorite part of the night, he hands the ball off to Kavion, and Kavion goes 63 yards right up the gut,
Awesome.
which I love. We talked about last week. When you see to go right up the gut, he goes 63 yards for a touchdown. He had gotten in on the previous series and had, let me see here, 9, 18,
It's like 4 carries.
27, 5
7
carries
yards
for
or
27 yards. You know, he was going forward, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to see. And then he busts that one, and that was just a cool moment, you know. And everybody on the sidelines just erupts. Cause,
Yeah, in the stands, too.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, his recovery from his knee injury from
Been
last
tough.
year at the Geyer game, that's...
Well, we've seen it so many times, and not finally, but even Kyler has experienced it, and it's tough.
Yeah,
It's tough.
it's hard. You know, he's, speaking of Kyler, he may come back. I think they're going to actually start Clayton Tune this week and give him another week. Mm-hmm. Jalen Guyton's going to play this week.
Oh, that's
finally.
awesome.
You know,
Thank
him and
goodness.
Kyler are both
So glad to
injured their
see
knees
him
on the
back,
same
too.
week
Yeah.
last year. But Jalen's going to be back this week. So
Awesome.
knee injuries are, man, they're tough. It's been a year.
So much hard work to get back from that.
So congrats to Kavion. Proud of you.
Yep.
And Dylan, as we mentioned last night, we're so proud of you for not bobbling that snap so you could get the handoff to Kavion just perfectly.
Yeah, did you see the way I handed that ball off?
Hey, Dylan is great. We love Dylan, and he's a lot of fun to be around.
Great sense
Brooke
of humor.
Shield, right?
Yeah, Brooke Shields. Yeah.
Great sense of humor.
Sunshine. Sunshine. Oh, my goodness. Allen's up 45-0. They kick the ball off. They take over to 25. And here we go again. Rush for -1, rush for 0, and a 16-yard punt.
It's a broken record.
Yeah, they had a pass, an incomplete pass, and then those 2 rushes. So they take over at the 40-yard line. On first down, Dylan goes back to pass and lays a perfect ball in to Donnell down the sideline. And this is what we were talking to Coach about. I didn't watch Donnell, but I watched Dylan, and that dude was so pumped up. He was so excited. Yeah, he was. He was just hopping up and down and jumping. And
Pumping
I was like,
them arms.
Please don't hurt your hamstring. That's all I could think of.
That was great. I was happy for him.
That was funny, Coach.
Please
put up
don't
the
hurt your
game,
hamstrings.
Yeah. But even after
Yeah,
the
that
game,
was
he was
funny.
still so pumped up about that. And I was
That's
like,
awesome.
dude, I'm just so glad you didn't hurt yourself again. So good, Dylan, way to make your presence known.
Yeah.
And proud of you. It was a great pass. Caught him in stride and puts the Eagles up 52-0. It's just, Little Elm does get on the board the next series. They, at their own 25, they complete a pass to Kendall Johnson. He takes it 75 yards for a touchdown. By that time, you had, I don't know who you had playing. You had a lot of people that the numbers weren't even on the roster were out there, but
Yeah.
he split between the safety and the corner and took it to the house. Allen does not score on their next series. Little Elm does not score. Next time Allen gets the ball with 16 seconds remaining, or like little time remaining in the third quarter, Brett Holloway takes over. But it's the Lyndon Spriggs show on this one because you had Holloway rushes for -3, Spriggs for 7, Spriggs for -1, Spriggs for 8. Excuse me, Brett Holloway for 8 on 4th and 7. On 1st and 10 from the Lobo 37, Lyndon goes for 7. On 2nd and 3, he goes for 9. On 3rd, he goes for 3 to get down to the 18. And then on 2nd and 7 from the 18, he rushes 18 yards for a touchdown. And again, I think the boys told us after the game last night, that's a freshman.
Yeah.
Number 47, I believe, who's, like I said, he's not even on the roster. They brought him up. And so Allen goes up 59-7. And then on the next series, Little Elm goes back to pass. The ball is tipped, falls right in the hands of Joshua Shaw.
What?
And bless his heart, he rumbles, stumbles, gets the big man touchdown, pick 6. which is so fun. And again, the sideline just
Happy
erupts.
for him.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, somebody who hadn't got to play a whole lot and gets a touchdown and makes it 66-7. Little Elm gets a couple of late trash time touchdowns. Final score 66-21, and Allen ends the year with a 6-4 record. I think if I would have, we didn't do this. Remind me to do it next year. Let's predict what we think the season is going to look like next year.
Oh, wow.
I would have not picked 6-4.
No.
I would have probably gone, if I'm looking back, 8-2 would have been my. I didn't think they were going to beat DeSoto.
No, I didn't think DeSoto was going to be a win, and
having
we
to
always
play-
worried about Prosper.
Well,
I mean,
I don't know if I worry about specific when we have to play Prosper and Geyer and McKinney all
Back to back
three
to
of
back.
them.
yeah,
There's odds are you can't beat all of them, and I don't know which one of those games I would have picked as a loss, but I would have picked 8-2. They went 6-4.
You know, McKinney won't have that same team next year either.
They may not have a lot of things from what we're hearing, so we'll see what happens there.
yeah, they may not have a coach.
Yeah, there's lots. So they go into the playoffs as the second seed in D1, which means they're going to play, again, it'll just depend, either at Coppell, or Louisville at a site to be determined. I pulled it up, and I posted this on Allen Eagle Nation because a lot of people were asking the question last night, who are they going to play? And a lot of people said it's already decided. Well, it's not decided.
There's probabilities. There's likelihoods.
There's three teams fighting for two positions over in that 6-6A, and it's Hebron, Plano East, and Flower Mound Marcus. Okay, Hebron has beaten Plano East this year. Okay, so the head-to-head goes there. But the way and I'll just read this: Flower Mound Marcus clinches a playoff berth with a win over Plano East. Okay, so if they win, they're in. All right, that takes. So then you're down to one spot, either Plano East or Hebron. Okay. If they win over East or a loss to Plano East by 5 points or less, if Hebron beats Louisville. Okay. The odds of Hebron beating Louisville are, in my mind, really low tonight.
Yeah.
So that takes
I agree.
that scenario. And I'm assuming, when I talk about Plano East a lot, I'm assuming Hebron's going to lose. Okay. If Hebron loses, Flower Mound Marcus automatically clinches. Okay?
Okay.
So then it comes down to, if say Hebron loses to Louisville, then it comes down to Hebron or Plano East.
Yeah.
All right. Then you get into that. Hebron clinches a playoff berth with a win over Louisville, which we don't think is going to happen, or a Flower Mound win over Plano East, because they own the head-to-head with Plano East.
Okay.
All right? If both Hebron and Plano East win, it will trigger a three-way tie for third place between Marcus, Hebron, and Flower Mound.
What's Flower Mound's record?
They are in district. They're 4-5 overall, and they're 4-2 in district. And Plano East is 5-4 overall, 3-3 in district. So all three of those teams could end up, if Hebron wins, at 4-3 in district. All right.
Okay.
Hebron would at least earn the fourth playoff spot based on that point differential. Okay, that Coach kind of talked about. In the district's 17-point tiebreaker rule. Plano East clinches a playoff berth with a win over Flower Mound paired with a Hebron loss to Louisville. That's the simplest scenario for us to play Louisville. Plano East beats Marcus. Hebron loses to Louisville. One of those is a probable. You just don't know what Plano East team's going to show up. It can also clinch with a win over Flower Mound Marcus by 6 or more points, regardless of Hebron's result against Louisville. So if they win by more than 6, they're in.
Got it.
Got it? If Plano East loses to Flower Mound Marcus, it can still clinch as long as Hebron also loses to Louisville and Flower Mound beats Plano West. Now, how that game figures in all this, I have no clue, but it does.
Yeah.
Okay? That game would be, that's two really bad teams playing each other. It'd be very interesting to see who wins that one.
Maybe we should show up and root for
Yeah.
one of the teams.
Oh, wow.
That happening, saying that would force a three-way tie for fourth place, and Plano East holds the tiebreaker based on the point differential. So there you go.
Poor little kitty cats went 0-7 in district.
Oh, Plano? Well, they're fixing to go 0-8.
No.
You're assuming they lose tonight?
Yeah, 0-7.
Yeah, they're playing Coppell.
When they will lose tonight.
Yeah, they're playing Coppell, and they'll probably lose. So there you have it.
As
people.
hard as they tried, nothing could have eclipsed the 2003 season. for the Plano Wildcats. It was an epic year. I mean, 0-10. You don't do that on purpose.
That is epic.
Yeah,
So there you have it, people. So all I can tell you is watch the scores tonight, and it'll work itself out.
And then tomorrow,
if you
you'll have
want to
your
play
answer.
Louisville, root for Plano East. If you want to play Coppell, root for Flower and Marcus.
Yeah.
Hebron is not going to beat Louisville. I'm
guarantee it?
I'm putting money on that.
Okay. You going to call the presidential race?
I am. I will do that as well.
Oh, awesome.
Hebron will not beat Louisville. And if they do, then that'll tell you all you need to know about what I think about things. So odds are we're going to play Louisville in my book, which is why Coach is where he's at. We'll see what happens. But we'll know tomorrow, and then we'll know when the game's going to be. So it'll be a road game, and it'll see what happens.
I hope it's Friday night.
It's why you can't go on Thursday?
No, I can't. It's just
I hate Thursday games.
Well, I hate them too, but I'll go.
Well, I'll go. Okay, all those who thinks that. Well, I'm not going to get into who shows up. It's a busy time of year. Trying to put up the holly for Christmas, and
You should not be even thinking about that until after Thanksgiving. So there.
oh, I know, but some people
Don't
think
get me
about
started
that.
on that.
Some people have to keep their wife happy. That's understandable. Totally.
Speaking of,
unless your wife comes to the games.
and I'm going to say
Show
this. Let's talk about a little bit about. I think this team. When you look at Region 1, and we said this. I don't know if we said it on the podcast.
It's weak.
It's not as strong as it used to be, and I think if Coppell goes D2, there will be only one undefeated team in Region 1, that being North Crowley, and everybody else has been beat. I mean, you look at for example, Trinity lost to Bell last night.
Oh my God!
Can you imagine? When was the last time that happened? LD Bell beat Trinity.
I heard this really big, loud sucking sound. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
But no, this whole region,
that's tough.
it's there for the taking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you get past that, it gets a much stiffer test. But I think this team has built itself where it can compete with anybody. Now, you go back to no special teams gaffes, no timely, costly penalties, no turnovers.
Good clock management, good play calling.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that have to happen.
Yeah. No throwing behind your receivers.
Yeah.
What else?
There's a lot of things that can go right for this team if everything that we've seen at certain points during the year.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, rely on that run game. I mean, McDowell, Ellis, Sibley can give you something. He may not give you 20 carries, but he can give you 5 or 6 good carries.
Yeah. So if the offensive line doesn't jump off sides, can get some blocks off.
Yep.
I mean, that's what has been really tough. When we run up against a really good lineman, DeSoto, I mean, across the board, good lineman. That number 93 for Prosper, he was a beast and just getting around, frustrating our guys.
The defensive line for Geyer was a handful for our guys.
Yeah.
And that caused a lot of problems in other facets of the offense.
Right.
But then that's you had a special teams gaff on that where you gave up a touchdown. If you don't give up that touchdown, you win that game. Or
if you don't do a lot of things, if they call that safety in the end zone when the punter for Prosper, had his knee down when he caught the ball.
Yep.
But just like was pointed out to us, maybe that's karma for that Trinity game where there were multiple questionable calls, and in the playoffs it's one and done. So it's a lot more impactful.
Yeah.
Just a regular season game. Okay, so we didn't win district championship. Okay, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, they need a lot of things to go right. I will say that.
Yeah.
But they're capable. They have shown during the year that they can make the plays. Go make them. Now's the time.
Well, exactly. And so linebacker play and all of the play for the defense. If you stay disciplined, don't overrun. Stay in your lanes, trust the guys that are next to you. If you're on the outside, keep the seal on the outside and trust your inside guys are going to cover that, that receiver. And it's tough, but part of it also is just getting used to playing with each other. And when are you going to let this receiver go? And when has the safety got it? Are they playing, cover one, cover two? When's the safety going to roll over? A lot of right decisions.
Yeah,
And
that
we've always said it. Do you really feel you can trust a 16, 17-year-old to do what you tell him to do?
No, but
because they are 16 and 17-year-olds.
But that's where the life lessons come in.
Yeah, exactly.
Win, lose, or draw.
So they've got the opportunity here to win some games. And again, last year they ran up against a really good Louisville team. This Louisville team has lost a couple games, and they lost to Highland Park in non-district. Coppell just absolutely spanked them. And they had turnovers in that game, which added to that. I went back and looked today. But Coppell's, if they end up playing Coppell quarterback has thrown 26 touchdowns, 1 interception all year. Yeah. So they're not a strong running team, but they can throw the ball, and that.
Right. And the only way you're going to beat a team like that is pressure, but you've also got to get coverage sacks because all that offensive line, for Coppell has to do is protect just long enough for him to get somebody open downfield, and all he's got to do is chunk it.
Yeah, I was just watching some film between them and Plano, and he's pretty quick to get rid of the ball the minute he gets it. And he don't watch. I mean, his receivers break and the ball's there.
Yeah, I think I looked today, and I think his completion percentage is like 75%.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, that's
really
that's
good.
insanely good
For high school, especially.
I would just guess because these were all short passes and stuff. So I imagine that's. And you remember back, we played Flower Mound over at their place, and they had that quarterback that had an unbelievable
release.
Well, not release, but it was percentage because he was dropping the ball off in the backfield.
Right.
And
Little
then they were
shuttle
running.
pass.
Yeah, and that's what he was doing. That's how he had such great stats.
Jet sweep.
His passes out into the backfield.
Yeah.
We'll find out. It's now 7:00 on Friday night, so these games are kicking off. So I'll be watching to see scores and see what happens, and we'll go from there. But until then, we need to go back because I inadvertently, because we had to get to coach real quick. We need to talk about 1971.
Yes, I was just going to ask that. I said, you missed it.
Last week, for their 112th game, they played Princeton. If you remembered, it was a 0-0 tie.
Wow.
Which put them at 0-3-3 for the year. It was their third tie of the year. Isn't that crazy? I will tell you this, just
we feel really bad for the class of 71. You guys had to deal with it.
They ended the year with 3 ties, okay? So just FYI.
Yeah.
So the 113th game in the history of Allen Eagle football, they played Quinlan Ford.
Okay.
Wow.
Hit a little bit
It's a ways
east.
out there.
And for the first time in 1971, the Allen Eagles were victorious.
Wow.
They beat Quinlan Ford 41-18. That was a district game, believe it or not.
Nice.
They moved to 1-0-1 in district, 1-3-3 on the year. That's just funny to say. And so they were on a 1-game win streak. So congratulations to the 71 Eagles for getting their first win of the year. The 113th win in the history of Allen Eagle football. We go back to 1981. That's where we've been for a couple weeks. Their 112th victory we talked about last week was against Lake Dallas. They went to 5-0-1 on the year, 1-0 in district. The following week they played Wiley. I don't know whether they went or stayed.
Yeah.
They actually lost to Wiley, 12-3. Dropped them to 5-1-1 on the year, 1-1 in district. So their 113th victory came the following week against Commerce. Again, this just cracks me up. They beat Commerce 20-0. Went to 6-1-1 on the year, 2-1 in district. 1, 2, 3, 4. They only played 5 district games that year. So another shutout. That was their third shutout of the year. Just so I'm going to say that year they scored 227 points and they only gave up 49.
Wow.
Played some defense, man.
Yeah.
I love that. But they won. They beat Commerce 20-0 for their 113th victory in the history of Allen Eagle football.
Awesome.
So next week, I should have updated this. Let's hope the Eagles get their, I don't know, this thing runs. It'll be
5,277.
400 and something victory. I'm gonna update this for the years that are on here. We'll have an actual.
Yep.
But it'll be, and they're in the 400s now, so they've obviously stepped it up a little bit. So, anything else, fellas? Congrats to the Rangers. We talked about a little bit, but good to them. You know, Mavericks are 4-0. Cowboys got a big game against Philly this weekend.
Yep.
As we talked to Coach, there's a bunch of big, good college football games on this
Oh, yeah.
weekend. We'll be headed down to Austin in the morning. Watch the Horns. Hopefully they win again.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em. So, it's been a good year. We'll have another podcast next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have several more.
Hopefully we can continue to talk about football before we, have to suffer and start talking about basketball more.
Let's not suffer.
I know, because it's going to be a blast.
We got great basketball coaches. They're just the best.
Makes it fun.
Fan Jam
Thanks, guys.
was fun last week.
Yeah, sorry I missed that.
It was fun. A lot of different things that they did. They had a 3-point shooting contest, guys against girls. It was great.
Uh-oh.
And the guys almost lost it. Sky Pep was on fire and almost beat. I think Antonio Shannon won it for the boys. Sky Pep was the girl participating in the end, and I think he won by 1 or 2 baskets, so it was close. It's a pretty neat little deal. The slam dunk contest was really cool. If you get some video of that, if you can see, it's pretty
Got
good.
that pass off the bleachers and the
Out of the stands.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Neo threw the ball to Caden. It was
a
really
perfect
cool.
bounce.
It was.
Yeah.
Now we gave him 90 seconds to complete the dunk they wanted, so that wasn't his first try doing it. It took him a little while, but they got it done.
Yeah.
Eric won it. Of all people, and you didn't
Good
think
for him.
He's got some hops in him. So
Yeah.
basketball's going to be fun this year. It's going to be fun to watch, especially when they get into district play, because I think they'll run this district pretty hard this year. They're pretty loaded. So
Good. District deserves it.
thanks for listening. Please leave comments. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And come out and support the Eagles either Thursday or Friday night at a location to be determined.
Friday.
And a time to be determined and a team to be determined.
I'm pulling for Friday.
So-
Pulling for Friday, and I don't care who we play.
We'll see who's there. And root your Eagles on as
One more week.
They begin, another season
1-0. 1-0.
of the Texas high school football playoffs. Good time of year. So
Texas high school football playoffs.
anyhow, until next week, peeps, it's over and we are out.
Bye.
Peace.